All right, welcome in. This lesson is going to be focused around a core theme. As you can already tell here, it's going to be getting paid clients. It's kind of a hard practice, but once you have the skill, right, it's kind of like door knocking, right? It's a skill that you can master at once and teach a man to fish, and he'll be able to provide for the rest of his life, essentially. If you have this skill and you understand how to sell things online and do it the right way, where you're actually building rapport and you don't scare people away, then this is going to be the lesson you guys need to watch. So this will obviously be in the live streams tab on my YouTube. So if you guys don't get to it now, you can get to it later. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to actually go ahead here and double check that. I think we're live streaming in the right. Okay, we are in the right community here. So welcome in. Let's just get to the beginning of the notes. So this is a long one. It's probably going to be like 25 minutes to get through all this, but hopefully you guys can stick around for it, because if you do, then you're going to take away a ton of value. So straight off the gate, what I want to say is these are all my sources, because I know last time we had a bunch of haters, by the way, and they wanted to think that I didn't know what I was talking about. So I'm actually showing you before we start where all the research is, and then obviously it'll be worked into the lesson plan itself. So let me throw on my glasses here to look just, I don't know, a tad bit smarter, and then I think we'll be good to go. If anyone has any questions too, just feel free to throw them in the chat, and I'll be able to pull them up too. One more mic check, because last time it became an issue when it cut out on me, but I think we are actually solid and good to go. All right. You can always drop a thumbs down if that doesn't work. I'm going to start reading. So, hey guys, it's Caleb. Welcome to our Tuesday training session. Tonight, it's a big night. We're going to be talking about the new era of online selling, specifically how coaches like you and me are getting clients through direct messages and calls. You might not be a coach yet, but maybe someday soon. If you're an ambitious young man, 18 to 30 years old, hungry to build a business or personal brand, you're in the right spot, guys. This session is absolutely foundational. It's going to set the tone for everything we're going to cover the rest of this week. And by the way, this is how it's all going to go. Sunday, we're going to start putting out YouTube videos. Tuesday is going to be a formal university-style lecture like this. Thursday is going to be a deeper dive on a certain topic. And then Saturday is the coffee hour, which we'll host inside the paid community. You guys can hop in, ask Anthony or myself any questions. It'll be this massive networking event every single Saturday, so you can stay up to date on all the latest technology, and it'll save you from hours of research online and testing new stuff. You can get all the proper up-to-date information from being in our community. And if you're a creator, then this is by far the best investment you can make. So this session is foundational. I want to start by sharing, first of all, why this topic matters so dang much to me, because it does. And obviously, I wouldn't have a business. I wouldn't be doing what I do, I guess, if I didn't have the opportunity to have a system like Instagram and Facebook to sell through. I guess TikTok too, sure, YouTube, but Instagram is mainly where business is getting done. A few years ago, I was stuck in the mindset of online business. I thought I needed the fancy websites, the complicated funnels, and big ad budgets to get clients. Right? Just like everyone else. I have leadership experience in a multi-billion-dollar company and own multiple businesses. Yet when it came to selling my coaching services online, I initially struggled. I remember pouring money into ads and getting zero high-ticket clients out of it. It was really, really frustrating. Maybe you felt that way too, trying to figure out how to monetize your own brand. You had a following, or you see all these people coaching other people in fitness or dating or trading and a certain skill, right? And you want to do the same thing. You want to be able to sell something and make money just because you are the brand and people want to buy because it's you. It's so easy once you get to that level. And it was frustrating for me too. But then I discovered a simpler, more personal approach, and it absolutely changed everything. I landed a $1,500 coaching client just by having a genuine conversation in the direct messages and one single phone call. That's when it clicked for me. The game has changed. There's a new era of online selling nowadays. In the past, right, online selling meant impersonal funnels and spray and pray advertising. You would have to reach out to meme pages, right? For my first dropshipping store, I had to pay a meme page $50 and hope that people like my stuff. But now you can post reels and it automatically gets sent to the people that like your stuff. You don't even have to try anymore. So the times have changed dramatically. But today, personal connection and whose name actually means something and has credibility behind it is the name of the game, and determines who's going to actually follow through and buy your stuff versus the different competitors. Thanks to social media, you can reach out to anyone. And again, Reels and TikToks are putting your content in front of people. And now you can build trust one-on-one almost instantly just by having the right chats. Again, something we work on all the time for our clients. But I want you to consider this. 375 million people use Instagram direct messages every month. That's larger than the entire population of the United States. Every single person in the US, the equivalent, even every child and every parent, every grandparent use Instagram around the world. That's how large that is. And it's not just casual chat. 150 million Instagram users have a conversation with a business every month. So just almost half of that. In fact, 89% of consumers say they want to message with brands and sellers. They want to do business online. 89% would be okay with that, with you reaching out and doing business or trying to sell your product. So again, I hear the objection all the time that it's scary to outreach and you're worried about cold messaging. It would be worse if you had to go knock on their door and people actually want you to outreach to them here if you have something good to offer. This is huge. It means that your future clients want to talk to you in the DMs instead of being directed to some generic sales page. We're now living in an era essentially where buyers crave human interaction and quick communication. They don't want to fill out a long form and wait days to get a single email response. We're not stuck in the 90s, right? They'd rather shoot you a DM and get a quick answer. Better yet, have an automated system set up so that way your DMs are managed by AI, a virtual assistant, or a system you can set up that we do all the time and we specialize in as an agency. Social media isn't just for memes and selfies anymore. It's truly a serious business tool. And if you understand how to use it, then anything you're learning in college, and I know a lot of you are in college and that's part of my audience, you can forget every single part of that. Maybe don't forget the, how to do business and how to talk to people and negotiate the sales tactics, but stop giving so much of a damn essentially about what you're learning in college and your business classes. Because when you can understand this, and I guarantee your instructors won't, then this is exactly where you need to be. What's up, John? What's up, Wyatt? I see you guys in there. So essentially your content can literally put you on the radar of potential clients every single day. Every single corporate sales team has caught on to this, right? You see all the big social medias. One LinkedIn report found that 78% of salespeople engaged in social selling are outselling their peers that aren't. 4 out of 5. Let's just say that's almost everybody, right? That's a huge majority of people. So if you're on social media, you're going to outsell anybody that isn't. It's kind of a common fact though, right? Even if that person's working 2 times as hard as you, calling people, going to knock on doors as a car salesman, the guy that has an Instagram talking about how he sells cars is making more money because that flow is working while he's sleeping. And get this, 71% of all sales professionals and 90%, 9 out of 10 of top salespeople are already using social selling tools in the process. Okay, so almost everyone is at least onto the game and are aware of what they can do, but they're not exactly executing. But why? Why is this such a big deal? Well, it's because it works. Social selling, which for us means sharing valuable content and building relationships in the DMs, it feels natural and yields better return on investment than cold calls or unguided emails. You get a DM from someone, right? You guys are getting sent reels and sending reels to your buddies all the time. Why not do business there too? It feels casual. You know, this awkward pause when you pick up the phone and you're like, yes, who is this? You already know who they are and you can respond on your own will. Even high ticket deals are being closed through DMs and calls now. And guys, this is 100% the fact. I did this yesterday. I'm closing deals all the time in my DMs. According to sales stats, 31% of reps using social selling on LinkedIn, among other platforms, have closed deals over $500,000 without ever meeting the client in person. I want you to think about that. A third of the people selling on LinkedIn have made $500,000 without ever meeting someone. And you're telling me that's not life-changing money. Think about that. If a huge business-to-business contract can close in the DMs and Zoom calls or just hopping on a Google Meet, you can absolutely 100%, 110% enroll a $1,000 or $5,000 a month coaching client through a DM conversation and a phone call. And again, I just did this yesterday. You just have to know how. But the bottom line is essentially online selling has shifted to a more personal, conversation-driven approach, especially in 2025. The rise of AI, all these tools, people care about now more than ever having genuine human-to-human interactions. And if you can do that in the DMs, you're already winning. Content draws the people in. DMs start the relationship, like meeting someone, right, in person and getting to know them a little bit. And the calls seal the deal. That's the end state, is we get them on a call, we meet face to face, and that's our kind of our in moment, right, where we can make the deal happen. The approach is not marketing theory. So if you're in college right now, it's great. Ignore the BS classes you're taking on theoretical sales and actually get out in the world. This is backed by data and real results. Again, I'm showing you the studies that go into this, just as the next fact here. For example, content marketing, sharing valuable content instead of just running ads, which people can tell it's an ad and they get very defensive, right? Because they think you're trying to push something on them. But if you just do it naturally, costs 62% less than traditional marketing because you have to make the content and stuff. And it generates about 3 times as many leads. So the old systems of paying Instagram and paying YouTube, you don't need to do that anymore. That comes from 23 content marketing statistics that prove it works. Again, all the sources are in here, so I'm not lying. You're saving money and drawing in more potential clients by putting out content. And at the same time, it compounds. So that means that once you close a client, you can make testimonials about it. Just keep building up that repertoire and that persona and that page full of content that shows that you are the person you are. And at the same time, because of that, you're building trust. By the time someone hops on a call with you, they've likely seen your posts or videos, maybe chatted with you in the DMs, and they feel like they know you because of it. You don't really need to do more than that to interact and get a good glimpse of who a person is. We do it all the time, right? You're on a dating app, you're on your softball team's Facebook page, you're on the campus Facebook page trying to meet people in your dorm building to go meet up and hang out with. You're doing this all the time. You're meeting people online. You don't have to meet them face to face. The level of familiarity and just having a slight personal connection through the DMs is pure gold for any coach or consultant. So to summarize this era, your content is your storefront. Your Instagram page is how you present yourself to the world. DMs are the sales floor and calls are the closing table. So let's break down each part of this modern funnel step by step. Get out your notebooks. Everything before here was primer. I want you to start paying attention and writing now. Stage 1, content that attracts. Everything starts with the content we're pushing out. Content, the video I'm making right now, the live stream, the reels, whatever it is how you get in your ideal client's radar in the first place. Whether it's your Instagram posts, TikToks, YouTubes, Twitter threads, or I guess X threads, this is where people discover you and perceive your value. Great content does a few things for you, even while you're sleeping, which is again why the top salespeople don't earn as much as people with a social presence. Because first, it grabs attention and it builds your audience. If you're consistently putting out content that speaks to the problems or goals, remember that, the problems and goals, not some cheesy content of the 18 to 25-year-old guys who want to improve their lives, like I do, then guess what? Those folks start to follow and listen, which you guys are. Most of you guys watching this are between 18 to 25. Some of you go up to 30, but it's kind of my target audience there. Second, content builds trust and credibility. When you share tips, stories, case studies, or even your own failures and lessons, people see you as an authentic expert or leader. As you can tell, I'm doing this through my vlogs on YouTube. I'm talking about real life and what I'm going through. You guys can see that I fail, that I mess up, that it takes me a while to get things right, but I'm being authentic about it. And that's important because nobody's going to hop on a call with you, let alone pay you, if they don't trust you. And to trust someone, you need a little bit of insight into their true motivations, their true workings and understandings of how that person operates. And to do that, give them a glimpse of your life so they know that you're not hiding something from them. Remember, 81% of people use Instagram to research products or services, and that comes directly from Instagram. And that was reported through Haymarket. In other words, potential clients are likely checking your Instagram or TikTok to decide if you might help them. If we know that businesses are judging this fact based on if they're going to hire you or not, and businesses are saying, well, is this guy a good candidate? Does he have a bunch of videos and pictures of him drinking? Well, why don't you do the opposite and actually attract businesses, potentially just for your next job or maybe to work with as a client, just by posting the right things. If your profile has valuable content that also resonates, it does a lot of the selling for you up front. I'm verified. I have plenty of content that shows people that I do this stuff every day and I'm credible. And so now I just get inbound leads in my DM. If you're watching this on Instagram, you can just hit message and there's an entire flow for you to interact with my team. By the time they DM you, they've already somewhat pre-sold themselves on you. There's a saying in marketing, content is king. I'll add content is your workhorse. It educates, nurtures, and warms up your audience at a massive scale. You don't have to talk to people one-on-one. You can talk to everyone at once because of this tool. It's leverage. And here's a pro tip. Content doesn't have to mean long blog posts. And nowadays, that's actually less efficient. For coaches and people selling a service online, maybe an agency owner, often short-form content like social media posts, reels, and stories work best to spark engagement. A best tip is go to the search feature on Instagram and type in your niche like fitness coaching and see, are most of the things in the results page reels? Are they swipe through posts? What is everyone else in your industry making? And that's a good way to start and determine what you should be posting. The key to consistency is doing this essentially, treating short form as true short form and not trying to overwhelm people. And that's the key to also being relevant. You want to show up in your audience's feed regularly with something that makes them think, wow, this dude knows his stuff, or I need to hear that today. Hopefully this is doing something for you as well. When your content strikes a chord, people will like, comment, and share. And you hear that all the time in the videos, which increases your reach. But more importantly, what happens is someone will slide into your DMs or reply to your stories. Sure, it might be the cute girl. More importantly, it's a guy that has a lot of money that wants to take advantage of your opportunity. And that's where stage 2 begins. Let's talk about what actually happens when they outreach to you. Or maybe you outreach to them and they respond. What happens in the conversation? You posted content and got someone's attention. Maybe they commented, great point, or sent you a message about something you said. Again, for you guys, that would just be going to my bio and clicking message, and you're already into this flow. Now we move to the DM stage, which is where a casual viewer can turn into a warm lead. Think of the DMs as the virtual equivalent of chatting with a customer who walked into your store, right? You don't want to just bug them up front. You want to maybe let them get a taste of who you are, what clothing you're selling, what products you have, and then see if you can help them. That's kind of the same vibe we're bringing into this, because people are still programmed the same. Our training doesn't change because of the platform. This is your chance to have that one-on-one conversation, to ask questions, to understand their situation. Most importantly, doing that as the main goal and providing some quick value to show them why you're actually worth their time. The beauty of the DMs is that they're informal and also pretty low pressure, guys. It's essentially two people talking. Imagine you were out at coffee or just hanging out at the bar, maybe not, drinking, obviously, with them, but you're just having the friend-to-friend conversation. But there's an art to these conversations. It can't just be that easy, right? Because we're charging a lot of money, so we have to be able to show people why it's worth it. The goal in the DMs is not to immediately drop your Calendly link or a payment link. Please don't do that. We're going to cover DM mistakes in a minute. Your goal is to build rapport and qualify the person. I want you to start by genuinely engaging. Thank them for reaching out or compliment something about their comment or question. Right? That's a great question. You know what? I get that all the time. I appreciate you taking the time to type that out for me. If they said, I loved your videos on fitness tips, you could say, thanks, man. Appreciate you watching. Are you working on your fitness goals these days? See how we opened a dialogue with just a question? DMs usually go through a few phases. There's the greeting and acknowledgement. This is where you essentially charm them, you get friendly, and you're just being human. Next, you understand their need. Once you've introduced yourself, start asking what they're working on or struggling with. Once they answer that and tell you some of their biggest challenges relating to your industry, start by providing value. I would share just a free tip, a free insight, or something that could potentially help. Even a resource. If you have a free ebook or guide, send that over to help them. Then, once you've done that, you've now triggered the law of reciprocity, and they likely want to give something back to you psychologically. So invite them to take the next step right after. If they seem like they could use more help, then you suggest hopping on a call to talk more. For example, someone DMs you, hey, I've been trying to grow my personal brand, but I'm stuck. And this happens to me all the time. In the DMs, I might reply, I hear you. Growing a brand can be pretty overwhelming, right? What part do you think you're most stuck on? And they'll respond with their problem. Let's say, I don't know how to get clients even though I have 5,000 followers, which is really good. A lot of you aren't even close to that, but it's fine. Now I might drop a bit of value. Yeah, that's a pretty common challenge. So one tip, try creating a simple offer and personally inviting some of your engaged followers to a free call. That can kickstart things and get engagement up a little more for future posts. I'll say, that's pretty interesting. I'm not sure exactly how to do that, but I see what you mean. Then I suggest, no worries. This is exactly what I help people with. If you want, we can hop on a quick 15-minute call later this week and come up with a strategy for you. I've moved the conversation from DM now to a scheduled call by sending that Calendly link only after I've done those things. You notice how natural that flow was? I connected it, I understood their challenges, and then gave them some sort of value or advice, and then I invited them to show them how to implement. Stop holding back the advice for free. Give out as much advice as you want. Charge them to implement it because that's what makes you worth it. You can hold their hand through that process. But knowing how to do it doesn't have to be gatekept. People appreciate that approach because you're helping first and you're not just selling. And from our side, the DM chat helps qualify the prospect. It does. It is the best way and it's the most efficient versus calling every single person up that submits their phone number. And a lot of times that's getting more and more of a personal question. People hate giving out their number because we get spam text all the time. So it's better off just keeping it in the DMs. But if someone clearly isn't a fit, maybe their goals are outside your niche, or they're just fishing for free advice with not really true interests, they're unqualified, you'll know from the conversation. But if they are a fit, the transition to a call feels like the next logical step. And again, having a couple determined ahead of time, predetermined questions can help you determine who is valid and who isn't. And usually that revolves around some sort of financial question paired with some understanding of their situation. This content to DM to call funnel is simple and effective. And guys, stop trying to reinvent the wheel. This works 1,000,000% over. You just have to get the offer right and the pitch right. And you can do this as soon as tonight. And I've seen people do that. It doesn't require any fancy tech. It's just you having real conversations. And trust me, this works at scale too. You might have 5, 10, or 20 DM conversations a day if your content is popping, which right now, one of my clients, it's happening for him. I'm literally getting blown up. I literally just got a text because I'm logged into ManyChat with him, and it keeps blowing up my phone with how many people are interacting with his content. There's a notification right there on my phone that just popped up. Yes, this can be a lot of typing, but it's free lead gen. And again, we can automate the responses to these systems so you don't have to talk through that conversation. And you can still get people on sales calls and know that they have the money. All you have to do then is close the deal and make thousands of dollars. You can always voice note or eventually hire an assistant to shorten things up if you want to do it yourself. But in the beginning, I'd encourage you to do it yourself because you won't have countless DMs and you can really personalize the approach. Nothing gives you better insight into your audience than talking to them directly and being a real person and just understanding their situation. Plus, when you handle DMs, your authenticity shows. You can use language that's unique to you. You can say, hey bro, I understand. Or maybe talk in a very eloquent way that's true to your style. Whatever your tone of voice is, they can feel that. Especially if it matches your video style, they'll know it's actually you. Or you can, again, automate it in a way that would sound like your voice. People can tell it's you though, usually, and it builds connection. We're really good at building automated systems with my agency that sound human, but are actually an AI running the conversation. And it's insane now what that can do. By the time they get on a call, they'll often say, thanks for the advice so far. It's been really helpful and I appreciate it. That momentum carries into the call because they understand that you've helped them. And that's why we make it a point to give them some free advice before booking them. So they know we're going to give more value on the call and they actually show up. Plus, anytime you can fit in a free video or a text or some sort of testimonial that gets texted out to them between when they book and when the call happens, that reaffirms that you're giving out value and you care about them. And that brings us to stage 3. How do we close a call? And how do we know that the call is going to close? Slight tongue twister there. Final stage is the call. It's usually a Zoom or phone call. I've seen Google Meet now, which is all free stuff, where you can convert that prospect into a client. This is typically what we call a discovery call, and right, it's a very overused system. I still call mine a strategy session, but it's not a hard sell telemarketing thing. You're not going, hello, this is blank with blank industry. I want to know if you're interested in blank. Like they already know who you are. They've qualified themselves. They have seen your content. They know you've given them value from the DMs, and they just want you to reaffirm and reassure them that you can help them. And then they're sold. It's just then a financial question. Can they afford it? Because they wouldn't show up if they didn't like you already. Just kind of like a date, right? Now you just have to keep the momentum going and close the deal. Think of it as a two-way interview. And I do this every time, and I make it a very clear point to do this with my client interviews. I'm seeing if the person is a good fit for me, like if we vibe well together. And second of all, I'm seeing if they're coachable, like if they can take advice and actually implement it. Because if they can't do either of those things, I don't want to work with them because they won't implement what I'm telling them. And I know more than they do, to be honest, and my team does. And so if you can't take action on what I'm telling you to do, then you won't leave me a good review because you won't see the results you need to. So you need to be coachable. So I'm kind of qualifying you on the call as well too. And they're seeing if you're the right coach for them and if the payment usually makes sense. That's usually the two things. Anything else is kind of just a blanket objection that has to deal with one of those two things. If your content and DMs have done their job, the call won't feel salesy at all. And a lot of times my best conversations, we're barely even talking about what I can do for them. We're just getting to know each other and build a relationship up as people. And then I just show them my expertise at the very end and they know I'm good for it and they'll pay me. It should feel like a continuation of the conversation. They already trust you to some extent. On the call, your job is to deepen the trust, diagnose the situation, and if appropriate, prescribe your offer as the main solution. Because what you've done first is diagnosing it and you understand what their needs are. So now you might have a million things your product does, forget all of them and take the one thing that's relevant to the problem they picked out and only talk about that. When you start talking about all these side effect outcomes that they're going to get, they really don't care because this was the problem and they want to know that you heard them and you can address that specific problem. Wait for them to bring something else up and then retailer those side benefits to it. We call that objection handling. Here's a simple structure for these calls. First is rapport. If you don't know what rapport is, it means your credibility with another person and how much they like you and how well you kind of vibe. Start with a friendly tone, thank them for their time. You can break the ice, but you don't need to spend 10 minutes on small talk. For example, in my last call, I was like, yeah, sorry I'm a little late. It was just like 30 seconds late, whatever. I had to get my crock pot going. I was meal prepping a bunch of chicken here. I got some like barbecue chicken thing going, so I'm trying some new recipes. I don't know if you just ate yet or if you're going to be hangry during this call, but let me know if we need to cut it short because of that. I'm kind of, I was a little hungry myself and I know what that's like. And I kind of just joke around about something that's not really related to the call so they can tell I'm human and I have side thoughts and I'm not just some machine that was planted here to be locked in on only consulting, right? So next is agenda. Once we get to know each other, set the tone of the call. In this call, I'd like to learn more about your goals and challenges because I want to qualify each other on this and not just try to sell you. I'm going to share some insights and honestly just see if I can help because otherwise I'm not going to take the time to try to sell you on anything if I don't think that we can provide a solution. I don't want a bad testimonial. I don't want to look bad in your eyes. So I'll just be 100% honest if I think we can work together and if we vibe. Does that sound good? Next, when they say yes, get into the questions. This is the big one, obviously. This is where you understand their needs and they understand if you're the right fit for them. And they're going to be paying attention to everything you say after this agenda point. So make it very clear how you present yourself in this stage determines how much they like you and how credible they think you are. So again, be professional. Don't just be joking the whole time unless maybe that's the type of coaching you're doing or the way they know them, the way they know you on social media. Just get right to the point and show them that you're actually a coach that cares about their interests. So lock in, stop talking about yourself and focus on them for this phase. What's stopping you? What do you think is the biggest challenge getting this result? If you're a fitness coach, what's been your recent workout split? Why do you think it's a good idea to look at other opportunities? What do you think isn't working about your current split? Why do you think that's the case? Have you tried anything else? Is there anything you want to see a coach provide for you, which gives you all the answers? And let them talk, type, take notes, but also make eye contact so they can see you're not just typing and distracted the whole time. Look at them. I like to bring an old school pen so they know I'm actually writing down things and I'm like making it a point to go like this, not really in their face, but just like this so they can see I'm truly writing things and picking out important points. And then I'm kind of rephrasing them to them. And that gives us step 4 here, recapping the value. So summarize what you heard. So you're trying to do X, you're trying to gain more muscle mass, but you're struggling with getting overweight and kind of having a lot of body fat. Then I would recommend you take on this high intensity interval training split and maybe we'll start calorie counting your macros and working on this type of diet plan, maybe a keto diet or whatever it is. Maybe carbs are making you bloated. Just show them you know your stuff and kind of point out subtle tips. But obviously we're not doing coaching here. We're just showing them potentially some solutions we can have, but make it a point to say, all of this is going to happen after. I just want to get to know your situation to know we can help you. And then we'll do all of this over. So it's going to be no pressure. You don't have to feel like you have to get everything out right now. And that kind of lets them know that you're already planning ahead and you're confident that you're going to close it. And that makes them a little bit more confident and just being open and honest about things too. Because they know you're already dialed in and you know your stuff. So you have the process down. I know, guys, really specific tips, but if any of this is resonating, please take the time to write this down yourself as I'm speaking. Go back to step 1 here and review, or again, any part of the video that's not making sense. Finally comes the offer. If you truly believe your coaching program can help them, and I want you to actually make sure, if you're just saying, well, I just need money now, then what are you really doing it for? Because can you actually coach someone or call yourself a coach if you can't add any value to this person's life? So you do need to, I actually do say no to some people because I don't think I can help them. And I don't have the training or the expertise in that area that they're looking for. But that's why I build a network of referrals and why our community, our free community that you guys can join from this video, you can meet other coaches. And what you can do is say, well, if you cover strength training and I'm more of a high intensity interval training guy, or I'm a boxing coach, then if they want strength, how about I refer them to you and tell them you're the expert and you give me a 10% commission on that. And you guys, once you have the network built of contacts in your phone, you are massively scaling your audience as well as your income from all these side deals you're doing. And so anybody you can take and say, if I can't help you, this guy can, and I'm still making money, so it's not going to pay me to do that. So that way, that lets you be 100% honest about whether or not you can help them, because you know you're going to make money out of it. So again, I work on that all the time. I have a lot of people I can refer to, but make sure you're joining our networking community and finding people to do that with too, because we have the largest growing network and fastest growing network right now of coaches in this space doing this. Number 6 is the details and close. I want you to explain how your program works, the outcomes they can expect. I understand you want to do more strength training. And I understand that it can be a challenge, right? We're going to have to work on these things in your diet. I'm going to let you know it's not going to be easy. I'm going to require you to check in at least one time a day with your workouts, but I am going to do that to hold you accountable and make sure that I can actually deliver on these things. Over 6 weeks, you could expect us to meet one-on-one. I'm going to give you some homework after each session. And then I have a client success manager who's going to follow up with you. It can just be you or just be one of your buddies, or you can just say you'll do it yourself. And we're going to follow up and do some documents we're going to need you to fill out, like a fitness tracker, fill out your meal or calorie sharing, or send me a screenshot of your MyFitnessPal app, whatever it is. And then just say, because of that, we have to price based on all of these services we're going to provide. But again, it's expensive. We know we can guarantee you results because of that. And I don't think you would want to work with anyone else that's going to overprice or charge you for things without being honest about the fact that they're doing it for a reason. We're doing it because we have things to pay for, but those things directly lead to you getting the results you want. So it is a win-win. And with that said, the price to work with us for 3 months to actually have those results achieved for you is going to be $1,500. You see how I'm just sitting here? Like you just need to shut up. You need to be very quiet. I wouldn't even start talking about payment plans, because then you're already digging yourself a hole. Don't talk about how soon you need to pay. Just say the price, end the sentence, and don't say another word. Let them respond. Let them be the first one to talk, because just as Leonardo DiCaprio said, Wolf of Wall Street, the first to talk, handle any questions or concerns, and if it's a fit, invite them to come on board as a client. If they say, yeah, that works for me, $1,500 is actually in my budget, that's obviously ideal outcome. So just go straight into payment and just ask them what email or just ask them honestly for their card number. And then I would personally bill them myself and type in their email on WAP, which is the payment platform we use and also where our community is hosted. WAP.com is probably the best. Don't use Stripe, use WAP, because they protect you from getting your money frozen on you. And again, I'm not sponsored, but our community is there for a reason. And then ask for their email and type that in for them so you can manually do the payment as soon as possible. It's only when you say, I'll send you the link to check out or anything like that, that there's a delay and they can start overthinking it. But you take action, you get their card number as soon as they say yes, so that way they can't be a hypocrite, and start collecting the payment and charging that for them. And just say, hey, can you get your card out then? I'm gonna need the first 16 numbers, or the 16 numbers of your card, and go from there. Now, entire books are written on how to conduct sales calls. Obviously, we have a lot more training in our basic starter community. It's $47, guys. It's like 7 courses, all in depth about every single part of this process. But I want to highlight a few key principles and common mistakes to avoid that will dramatically improve your success rate on calls. Okay? More free value for you guys, because I want you guys to qualify yourselves and work with me. And I'm showing you guys why I'm credible. So I have nothing to hide. Plenty of you guys are going to watch this video and work with me. I am not in need of more clients. So I'm giving you guys the value in doing exactly what I'm saying you should do in the DMs, but in video format. And so I'll hope that you'll take something away from this and want to work with me to actually implement that for yourself. I have nothing to hide, guys. I'm 100% truthful, and this is the strategy I'd recommend. General advice: listen more than you talk. Top sales performers might spend 80% of a call asking questions and listening, and only about 20% talking. It comes directly from Entrepreneur, which is a huge magazine. If you're doing all the talking, you're not really learning what their needs are. And more importantly, the client feels like you're not doing that too. Plus, when people feel heard, they're much more likely to trust you. So be curious and be patient. Secondly, focus on outcomes, not your process. Clients don't care about the 10-module course, ironic, I just said that, or the 7 coaching calls as much as they care about the result they get. So again, like I said, state those things, but then tie them into the better outcome. If this is the aesthetic you want, if strength is what we're trying to build, you will get stronger. These are the things that make it happen, that show that I have credibility and I've thought through this, but we're selling the outcome. And that's what gets pitched on right before you say the price. Paint a picture of what their life could look like after solving their problem. Watch any of my highest performing YouTube videos that, it's me sitting in this chair here edited, and you can tell that I paint out that life beautifully. So you guys are being sold on this, and I'm tactfully selling you guys in video format time and time again. For example, by the end of my program, you'll have a clear personal brand and paying clients coming in. It's more compelling than you're just going to get 8 calls and a Facebook group. What does that do for me? It's just me. It's just more nonsense I have to add into my day, and it has nothing to do with what I want to do working with your brand. You guys are just the vehicle. If another vehicle could get me a clear personal brand and paying clients, and it doesn't require 8 calls, then I'm not going to care, right? So pick the thing that they can't live without, which is the result, and tie it to your service. Don't get lost in the weeds of features. Highlight the transformation. Ideally, state that in your main program name, like the strength culmination course or whatever it's going to be. Third, don't rush to close the sale at all costs. All right. This I know it sounds counterintuitive in a sales context, but hear me out. And this is my mindset going in. It's always worked well for me. Yes, you should ask for the sale if it's a fit. And I like to just say the price and shut up. But do it the right way. People hate feeling pressured. If you try to force someone into a yes when they're not ready, you're going to push them away. It's dating. I like to think of it like a cat versus a dog. A dog's going to be like, come here, boy. And you can like just shout at them and they'll come your way. That's kind of like the opposite of what we want to do. I like to think of it more like a cat, right? A cat's only going to come to you and feel attracted to you if you're not like chasing it and like being loud and energetic. But if you're calmly sitting and knowing yourself and knowing your value, a cat's going to come sit on your lap, make itself comfortable. Whereas a dog is just going to get match your energy, right? And we don't want to do that. We want to do that with our teammates, dog to dog, right? But cat to cat, matching that peaceful, passive energy that attracts and not, is so offensive. We want to go and just know ourselves and know our worth and make them come to us. So be leadership minded, guide them, but give them agency. And agency isn't referring to an organization. It's referring to your ability to act in your own interests as your own person. Sometimes a prospect might need to think or might have reservations. Address those 100% honest. Because again, the second they figure out you're just scamming them or being a fraud, that's going to carry into the whole program and they're not going to get the same effect out. If you actually care about helping people, which should also be a motivation here, and it shouldn't just be money, you want to be honest with them because that's what leads to good relationships. If they say, I need to think about it, you can reply, it's fine. What part do you need to think about? Maybe I can just clarify something now. My tone was a little off there, but you guys know what I'm saying. I was just reading that. Often it's either a money issue or uncertainty about the value. Like I said, those are usually the only 2 things that come up. So again, if they say, I need to ask this person, well, a lot of times, what do you need to ask them about? Well, maybe it's the price. Like, can we afford this? So it's a money question. Or maybe they'll ask them, I don't know, what do you think of this guy? And they don't want to tell you that on the call, but maybe they don't trust you. So they don't know that can provide as much value as you say you're worth. So then it comes down to a value question. If it's money and they truly can't afford it, respect that. You can even encourage them to try again when ready. You could say, hey, join our free community for right now. That's why I have this set up, or at least follow my social media. And I'll keep the DMs open. I can maybe send you a reminder in like 3 months, or how long do you think you would want to wait if you're still interested in checking this out? Make sure if they're not going to be interested again, then you give them the floor to say that so you don't waste your time. If it's value or doubt, help them see the ROI or answer their questions, but never be pushy. I often say on calls, whether we work together or not, I want you to succeed. And I say it in a way like I just did where I actually mean it. I get satisfaction not from the money I make, but I truly at a deep core level think I'm fulfilling my purpose in life by helping you guys find financial results. And that's why I could get 3 views on this video or I could get 3 million and my work is going to be the same with the same level of quality and effort because I do care about this and I'm going to give it my absolute best to help you guys out. That's the service part of me. That's the military in me. I don't know what it is. Ironically, that sincerity makes people likely want to work with you. And I'm sure you guys probably just realized that I was being genuine there. Lastly, take control of the call in an entirely good way. By control, I mean lead the conversation with confidence. A common mistake is being too timid or overly friendly, right? It's a balance, right? It's just like a date, right? We don't want to be too shy, but we don't want to be pushing them. We want to be really good with emotional intelligence. And that's why sales depends a lot on that skill. So mock calls, we do mock calls inside our WAP community. We do Q&As. We do a bunch of training exercises in our paid community. So in my coaching calls, I'll work with you and perfect your pitch, whatever it's going to be. But spend 15 minutes on an unrelated small talk actually hurts your authority and wastes their time if it's that long, right? So we want to be present, but we don't want to just waste the whole call, right? And this is in perspective. I didn't give you the full stat. This is on like a 30 to 40 minute call because that's like a third of the time or half the time in some cases. Do it for like 3 to 5 minutes max and then get into everything. But if we're only talking about small talk, they're going to feel like you can't get to the point. Prospects aren't there to be your buddy. They want a leader who can solve their problem. So be warm, right? Small talk, but be professional. Keep it short. By minute 2 or 3, pivot it to the meat of the call. Start getting into that. I'm going up to the agenda, right? We built our rapport. That's going to be the next step. All right, let's dive in. I'd love to hear about what you're looking to achieve and just what challenges you've been facing with this. They'll appreciate that you value their time and are focused on them. If you avoid the major pitfalls, talking too much, like I already feel like I'm doing because I have nobody to talk with me here, feature dumping, pressuring, or meandering, you'll find these calls can actually be enjoyable for both sides. I actually never get off of, I don't know if it's just the salesman in me. I've never had bad relationships, like dating wise. I've always been able to end them on good terms. I've never had bad sales calls. I've always just said, I get it, right? It's just a money question, or maybe we don't have what you need. Like, that doesn't mean like we have to hate each other. We're just, we just don't work out. It's fine. And we can find a way to move past it. You should just be, that's a great skill to have in any area of your life. If your friend stops talking to you because you haven't talked to them for 6 months, then just understand that that's how life goes, right? You don't need to hate someone else for not being present or not being willing to be on your side of things, okay? Once you can understand that and get really good in all areas of life, just being okay with things and how they do or don't work out, then it's gonna be a lot better for you. Essentially be that nonchalant king we talk about, right? But again, when there's a match, closing the sale is absolutely natural. Often the prospect will say, okay, sounds pretty great to me. How do we start? And they kind of want to go to the next step. When you pick on that tone and you can tell that that's what they're doing, that is a music to any coach's ears. That they want to hear that. You guys know, okay, they almost are like pushing me to go. And I almost don't know if I've qualified them yet. That is the best feeling you will ever feel because you know the money's already in the bag. Now that we've covered the main stages of the content, DM to call funnel, you can probably see how each stage builds on the previous. When someone starts watching a 60-second video, a week later, with them enrolling in a $2,000 coaching program, that's probably the best result you can do. And I've seen that happen quite a few times for not only myself, but plenty of clients. That's the power in the process of the new era in online selling. I don't have to get in my car in the rain and walk to 17,000 houses. Probably not that many, probably more like 55 houses, right? To get somebody to say yes. I can just sit in my comfortable little office chair here, be a little wimp about it with my camera and my shades drawn, and I can make content. And you guys will come to me, and it actually works. And I don't need to get all wet driving around town and wasting gas. Good for the environment too. However, I want to ensure you guys also know what not to do. Let's talk about some common mistakes I see coaches make in the DMs and calls that can sabotage all of this. So everything we just talked about, the results, it won't happen if you're doing these things. The common mistakes, the first one in the DM stage, that's where a lot of coaches fumble the opportunity. I say coaches too, you might be a paid brand, right? Maybe you're an influencer that wants to work with companies and you're trying to negotiate. You can use this for anything. I want you to avoid these pitfalls. So again, the first mistake is pitching too soon or too hard. That's the biggest killer. I see that the most often. So I'm going in order of like importance and how soon they come up. If the first thing you do when someone follows you or comments is send them a long message about your coaching, you're doing it wrong. You need to ask and understand why you would be a good fit, because otherwise it feels like you're just trying to sell anyone. You're a snake oil dealer, right? Instead of tactfully picking who's right for a product. Like a doctor, right? If a doctor's saying to anyone on the street, do you want aspirin? Do you want aspirin? You're like, do I need aspirin? What is this aspirin thing he's selling? I probably don't need it, especially if it's some drug that's going to be really complex and maybe expensive. But if he says, oh, you look like you have a headache. Would you want aspirin? Oh, because I have a headache, maybe I do want to try this, even though I don't know what aspirin is. It seems like it would fix a headache because he picked me, right? And so you need to qualify that person first. Jumping straight into a pitch without building any rapport signals desperation and often drives people away. Big study around this too. No one likes getting a random, hey, I can help you, buy my program message out of the blue. Instead, I want you to start a genuine conversation. The second mistake that I see the most often is using cookie cutter templates for everyone. I know there are DM scripts out there to promise you the world and to close anything 99% of the time. But if you copy and paste the system canned message to 50 people, it reeks of inauthenticity. Now you can collect data in a funnel that is like a survey, right? But you need to also follow up on that yourself. So what I'll do for my clients is we'll build out a short survey funnel and then send them like a free guide or something like that. And then if it qualifies them as having a decent income range and also having the need for this service, it'll tag them as being a qualified person, pings their phone, And you can know exactly who to text and not waste your time on unqualified leads. So that's a pretty sweet process we set up. People can tell it's not personal. So again, we want to only make it personal for the people we know want to work with us to save time as we scale. But when you're just getting started, get to know anybody because you never know. And it's obviously going to help you practice your sales pitch. Using an impersonal, one-size-fits-all DM template is a surefire way to get ignored if that's the only thing you're offering. Because remember, the strength of the DMs is it's direct. It's direct to you, and it has a personal touch to connect with you and not a machine. So be a human and not a robot. Again, we can set up AIs that sound human and mimic your style that can take and still automate this, but we need to mimic that touch in a proper way. Otherwise, we're going to lose authenticity very quickly. So mention something specific about them if you can. I always do this on my outreach. I'll leave a voice memo so they can hear it's my voice and talk about what I liked on their content, or at least adjust your tone to each conversation. The third mistake is failing to address their unique pain points. Some coaches stay surface level in DMs. They don't really ask questions and they just spew info. They say this, and this, and this, and this is what I can provide. And if you don't like it, well, I'm sorry. I don't even know who you are or what you want yet. If you don't take the time to learn what the person actually needs or is struggling with, your messages will miss the mark. Make it about them. Ask, what are you working on? Or what do you think is your biggest goal right now? And listen, right? Again, I mentioned this already, but do it. This is why I'm doubling down on this point. Tailor your responses to what they share. Write them down, bring it old. This is a pen, guys. You can write with this. It has ink in it. I usually need like a piece of paper to write with, but I don't know if you ever learned that, but you can write things while you're on the call and it makes you look educated and professional. And then tailor your responses. I like to make it very obvious I'm reading off notes that I wrote. Oh, so what I'm hearing is, and I'll go like this, and show them that you actually took the time to care and to write it down and make effort to make it an important point to you. And mistake 4 is writing a novel in the first message. This one is more tactful, tactical, I guess, but worth noting. Don't send huge paragraphs in DMs, especially as the first response. If we have a block of text we need to send about a program, I'll break that up into like 3 text messages and automate them in a sequence. Sometimes I'll add like a 5-second delay, so it seems like I'm actually typing them, but it's just automated stuff. It's overwhelming and unlikely to be read fully. If you guys want to check this out, go to my DMs, go into my inbox and hit that button inside my messages and you can see how my flow is built out. And it's pretty awesome, actually. I have a massive web of system structures. Keep messages concise and easy to read, usually 1 to 3 sentences at a time. I like to think about a text message, right? Nobody wants a long text from their ex that they're probably not going to read. You want it like 1 to 3 sentences at a max, and then just start a new text. That's how we text bro to bro, right? You can always send more messages as the conversation flows, but don't dump your life story unasked. And again, you're a coach, you're listening more than you're talking, so give them opportunities to share. Mistake 5, giving away too much coaching for free in the chat, right, is a bit tricky because it's a balance. You do want to provide value, and like we said, you do want to give them some free advice to show them that you are valuable, but don't solve the entire problem over text before they can even get on a call, or worse yet, even get the chance to pay you. I've seen coaches basically coach someone for 2 weeks in the DMs and wonder why the person isn't interested in a paid program. This is going to depend on your offer too, but essentially it's because they already got what they're needed. So provide some quick wins or tips in DMs. But if a deep problem needs solving, say, this is something we could definitely dig into in a call or in my program. Especially if you're a service-based agency, which I would like to say Ascend is, because we not only coach you, but we implement everything we're telling you to do. We'll run your advertising, we'll set up your flows, we'll set up your automated funnel for you, we'll script your videos for you, we'll plan your content for you. We do the work for you and also with you. But I can tell you what to do, but that doesn't mean you're going to have a content plan. We still have to plan it out for you. So I can tell you how to do it, but you still don't want to do the work yourself. So we still have a value that we're withholding, which is our ability to perform and execute that for you. It's okay to tease the solution and then transition. I see this a lot with fitness coaches. Talk about like the results you're going to get, not just in the gym, but maybe the confidence boost with women you'll get, or the respect you'll get from your coworkers or your family members that see that you've been putting work into something. Maybe that's that effect you want and not the 8 weeks of coaching calls. So tease the solution and then transition. Talk about like that, oh yeah, what you just asked, we can solve. And a lot of times when we can fix it on the call, people will start to notice this and this. Again, first of all, avoiding the DMs will dramatically increase your chances of moving people to the calls if you can blanket out those mistakes. But DMs are about conversation and not conversion. Conversion comes on the call, and don't make it anywhere but there. After on the call. I would always say so for most coaching businesses. I've seen, right, and I know you're going to object to this, but I've seen people close deals in the DMs without having to get on a call. but it's very hard if you're getting started. You need like 200,000 followers. You need to be verified. You need massive credibility, an insane amount of testimonials. And only when you've done that, other people can see that you've done this, and they just want to get themselves on the list. They don't even need to qualify. You don't even need to qualify yourself, or they don't need to qualify you. If they have the money and you're charging enough and you have that much content build up, then later down the road, you can close deals in the DM. And you can even hire assistants to do that for you. And it gets really easy. And a lot of people will end up going that way. But to start, you need to get on a call because you're building credibility because you don't have it yet. So again, this is why I'm teaching it this way, even though depending on where you're at, we might have a different opportunity for you if your following is already somewhat there. So the common mistakes on the calls, now that we did DMs, is just as with DMs, there are several classic blunders like talking too much and not listening. This is huge. And again, please don't make this mistake. I already, again, still feel like I'm over talking this lesson, but we're going to keep working through it. As I mentioned, aim to let the prospect do most of the talking. If you catch yourself lecturing or rambling, zip it and ask a question. Studies have shown that the more a salesperson talks, the lower their close rate tends to be. Very quick hack. I would set a timer on your phone for 60 seconds and have the ringer off so it's not like blaring during the call. But every time it goes off, just set a stopwatch, right? And every time it hits the minute mark, see if you're talking. And if you're talking, wrap it up as fast as you can at that minute mark and give it back to them. And if you're paying attention minute by minute and you've been talking at every single minute mark, you're probably talking too much. But studies have shown, again, the lower the close rate is if they're talking more. So people don't care how much you know until you can demonstrate them, right? But also listening to them so you know that, great, you know everything about brain surgery, but if you don't know what kind of tumor they have, how do they know that any of that's going to be relevant? And now you're just wasting their time. You get it? So fight the urge to info dump. Number 2 is selling with the wrong intention. Again, you can probably figure this out. You go to the call thinking, I have to close this deal or I'm a failure, which is great. You could be motivated. Don't motivate yourself to prove other people wrong. Do it to prove that you actually know what you're doing and that you can get a win for yourself. Make it positive. But you unconsciously become needy or pushy when you feel like you don't have a choice, you have to do this. Now, there might be external situations. Your rent might be due. You have a car payment. Block all that out and try to provide value first and help the person. Again, that's why you make connections in our free networking community, because you can network with another basketball coach. Shout out to Coach Stevie. And you could say, well, I don't teach dribbling, but Coach Stevie does. And so I'll refer you to him. But then I've helped you, right? And I feel good about that. And I genuinely got value out of that. And Coach Stevie pays me a 10% commission for the referral. And I get passive income from that. And he did all the work. So it's a great system to be in our networking community by joining. The link's in my bio. And you guys can work that stuff out. See, I just sold you there. And you guys, it felt pretty natural, right? So I'm doing it here on the DMs or the calls or whatever you're seeing this at. Think of it like dating again, though. You wouldn't want to be on a date with someone who isn't just trying to rush you to a commitment. Oh, I really need a boyfriend. Would you be interested in dating? I'd be interested in working something out. I don't know if you're free next week, but I'd love to go on a date again. Guys, I'm already walking out of that restaurant. This person's a psychopath. So same here. Your intention should be to serve and not just to sell. Don't be too needy and don't be too pushy. Go in to see what they need, see if you can help them, and be honest whether you can or can't. As one entrepreneur put it from the link here, from Entrepreneur magazine, nobody wants to get on a call with someone who just wants to close them. Pretty blanket statement, but it's obvious. They just want an advocate for their goals. That's the biggest part of coaching. You could serve and you could implement a million systems and a million templates, but they want to feel heard and feel like they're making the right decisions. That's most of coaching, guys, most of mentorship, most of leadership, knowing that your people need you and that you can show them that you got their back and things are going to be okay. Ironically, when you're less attached to making a sale, you often end up making more sales because you're focused on the person and not just a quota. Car salesman, you better remember that fact. Mistake 3, pitching the process instead of the outcome. We're almost done, guys, so stay with me. This is a mistake we touched on earlier. Coaches sometimes get nervous and start listing every feature of their program because they feel like the person doesn't have enough and they're not going to be sold. So I need a quick run through this list of every single point that makes it worth it. How many videos, PDFs, calls, etc. Your prospects don't care that much about the nitty-gritty details. They care about how their life will change. If you find yourself saying, my coaching includes this, pause, shut up, and reframe it to only what they talked about being a pain point. Instead, say things like, we'll work together to achieve specific result that relates to what they said, and only share necessary details of that part of the program to support the vision. The rest, they can see that, guys. Put the poster board up, Don't talk through every point. Just let them see what's involved and let them pick out what they want to talk about. But keep it outcome focused. The final, I guess there might be 5 mistakes. I think this is the 4th one. Be afraid to discuss the investment or price. Being afraid to kind of ask for value. Some new coaches get tense when it's time to talk price. I'm not even going to say some, it's most. It's me. I still get somewhat nervous, and they either rush through it, apologize for it, or avoid it. I had to do this today with someone, and I had to bring it up in a way where, again, I didn't feel like I was being greedy, but also I had to ask for money, and it's hard every time you have to do that because money makes the world go round, and it's a transfer of value. But you have to understand that the value is getting transferred to them too, and there's a reason they're paying you. And a lot of times it comes from your own discomfort. You need to own your value, and you need to reaffirm in your mind that you're actually worth what you say you are. You're going to feel that imposter syndrome that you don't have the credibility to make it worth it, but you are worth it. Don't say, yeah, the price is $1,000. I know it's a lot. State your fee confidently and then shut up. Let the other person process it. Silence can be okay. I've sat there for like 20 seconds. I swear to God, 20 seconds. That is hours in my head of just sitting there. But if I'm demonstrating my value, I'm going to do that because many people will say yes after a pause or start asking questions that can tell you what's going on in their head and what you need to handle to get them to the sale. If they have sticker shock, that's an opportunity to reinforce the outcome and ROI. Yeah, I get it. $1,000 is an investment. That's the whole point of this. Remember, landing one client can make you twice that. The systems you'll learn can pay you back 10 times over time. So you could close one client, make $5,000 next week, and then that $1,000 in hindsight is going to feel like nothing, right? So it really comes down to, do you trust our system enough to make a $1,000 investment knowing that $5,000 is probably going to happen for you? And that's where testimonials come in. That's where all the other things come in to handle those objections. So be ready to handle the money stuff, but never be defensive about your price or feel like you have to back down. You can offer payment plans, but that's only if they say they need it. Not having a next step if they don't decide on the call is our last mistake, I believe. Ideally, you want to clear yes or no at the call, but sometimes someone truly needs to sleep on it or discuss it with a spouse. That doesn't mean you lost. I don't care about all the red pill bullshit you hear. It's fine. It's fine, guys. Most coaches say, okay, let me know what you decide, and then they never hear back. Big mistake. You can let them think, but schedule a follow-up right then and there if they don't sign up on the spot. That's okay. I'll let you sleep on it. I understand that's a lot to think about. I've probably given you way too much to think about. I can send you over a breakdown of what we talked about here, the slides and everything, so you can review it on your own time. But what are you going to be available on Thursday at 4 p.m. at the same time we're meeting right now? That we can just go back over and touch base to see if we're a good fit or not. Again, no pressure. I just want to see where your head's at that time. And hopefully you'll have some time to process it some more. Again, this comes directly from this study right here and also this lesson content. For example, I understand. How about we pencil a 10-minute call Friday to touch this? We kind of just did the same thing. This does 2 things. It gives them a deadline so the decision doesn't linger forever, right? And they know when they have to decide it by. Otherwise, it's just this constant question in their head that doesn't get resolved. And it shows you're interested in helping and not abandoning them. It does more to help than it does to hurt or to feel like you're still being greedy. So say that in your head. I'm doing this to help them make the decision. I'm not doing this to try to get money out of them. Okay, that was a lot of don'ts. And I'm tired of talking, but we're wrapping it up. We're in the very end game of this. If it feels overwhelming, here's the good news. Even if you catch and fix one of the things I said, you'll likely see an improvement in your results. Every coach learns through experience. I certainly did, making plenty of mistakes along the way. You don't even have to be a coach, just in any leadership position. The fact that you're here learning this means that you're going to be ahead of the game. Now, to really bring this home, I want to share a quick case study of how the content DM call funnel works in real life. I'm going to just breeze through this real quick, so stay with me. Let me tell you about John. I changed his name for privacy. One of our Ascend community members who applied this strategy. He's in our paid agency side of things. John is 22 and he's a fitness coach who had about 1,500 followers on Instagram when we started. He's never gotten a client online. All of his clients were in-person referrals from the local gym, which he's very liked at. We'll just say he's in Tennessee. We worked on his content first. He started posting 3 times a week on Instagram, just little carousel, the swipe through posts and reels with fitness tips for busy college guys. Within a couple of weeks, his posts started getting more saves and comments because the algorithm started figuring out who he was, and he got better at hitting real pain points, like how do you stay fit during exam weeks, things that specifically relate to those people. One of his reels went semi-viral and he gained a few hundred followers who were exactly his target audience. And the algorithm then is like, oh, all of these people in this age range that is your target audience, if you're doing your content right, are starting to follow him. So I need to share his future content to more of these people. And then it keeps compounding. And that's when you start blowing up. Now, here's where the magic happened. In the comments of that reel, a guy said, "I struggle with this so much. Thanks for the tips." John replied to the comment and then DM'd the guy, just a note. "Hey, saw your comment. Glad the tips help. What are you struggling with most on the fitness side? Maybe I can point you in the right direction." They ended up chatting in the DMs. The prospect explained he's a 20-year-old college student, so he's a sophomore. We used to be in shape in high school, but kind of got lost. I think he was I think he played football, and he was actually like a tight end, so he kind of gained a little bit of weight because he was kind of a lineman. John shared a couple of quick suggestions and really just listened to the guy's challenges. He limited his time, or he had limited time, bad dorm food, right? We all know the college experience, etc. He's probably drinking and stuff too. After a bit of back and forth, John said, "Look, I actually help guys in this situation. I've been there myself. You want to hop on a quick call? I can help you map out a workout plan you can stick to, even with that busy schedule that I'm very familiar with." They got on a Zoom call the next evening. John followed the exact call structure we just discussed, built rapport over their shared love of a certain sport, and then dug into the prospect's fitness goals and struggles. He emphasized John had also been a student athlete. John played football, so he connected on that level. And then he painted a picture of what it would look like if the guy had a simple, effective routine. And he kind of tied that to some of the team workouts he did during football. And mentioned like how having a system and camaraderie, just like you did on the team in high school, would be a great way to reinforce that mindset that you had in high school. By the end, John offered his 12-week coaching program for $300. He priced it low as a beta. He said yes on the spot because 12 weeks for $300 is insanely low, but it was better than charging free just for the testimonial. And this was obviously his first client. But he literally told John, "Man, I've been following some fitness influencers for a while, but you're the first one who actually talked to me. This call has me fired up." So John was essentially in 48 hours had closed this client, but he was over the moon. It was his first online client ever. $300 might not sound life-changing, but for him, it was proof, and it should be proof to you that this works. This is a real case study. He's from Tennessee, exactly the situation I talked about. And here's the kicker. Because John delivered great coaching, that client referred 2 of his buddies in his dorm a month later. Suddenly, John had 3 online clients and had basically made $900 from a single DM conversation and 1 piece of content as a fitness coach. That is a real, tangible example of the new era of selling. No fancy funnel, no ads, no huge email list like even 5 years ago everyone was talking about online. We're the most up-to-date community that covers this stuff. Just content that speaks to people, genuine conversations, and a helpful call. And by the way, John has since raised his prices. Those 3 clients gave him testimonials. They're on his Instagram highlight reel and stuff. He put them on YouTube. He showcased those in his content. And now more people are DMing him for coaching because they want to be like that 20-year-old guy. It becomes a positive feedback loop that scales like a snowball rolling down a hill. All right, I hope that case study shows you what's possible. Now, as we come to the end, I want to leave you with 2 things. First, a quick invitation, and a peek second at what's coming later this week. First is the Ascend community, and it's your 10x ROI shortcut, and we'll do everything I just talked about here. You probably heard me mention Ascend brand to business community a couple times. We have now since changed the name. It goes by Ascend Digital Syndicate, so you'll hear the Digital Syndicate come up a lot. I created the Ascend to be the support system and the training ground for guys like you who want to turn their personal brand into that real business. Remember how we talked about doing this alone versus having guidance, and also having people share secrets of what's working, what's not, what content is popular, what audios are popular, all the things that would take you hours of your own research that you don't have time with your job or with school to figure out. There's a statistic I love. 1/3 of successful entrepreneurs have relied on a mentor or support group compared to only 14% of entrepreneurs with failed businesses. Read that again. 1/3 of successful entrepreneurs, 1/3 of all successful entrepreneurs have relied on a mentor or support group, compared to 14% of entrepreneurs that also had failed their business. Success leaves clues. Having a community or mentor vastly increases your odds of winning. I personally would not be here if I hadn't invested in mentors and surrounded myself with other entrepreneurs. I'm paying way more than the price that I'm asking you guys to pay to get all the content that these people taught me, and now I'm in the position I'm at. This is why I built Ascend, to give you that environment and guidance, minus the fluff BS that gurus like to put out. That's literally in my Instagram bio. Inside Ascend, we dive deeper into strategies like this one we covered tonight, but imagine many, many masterclasses broken up into bite-sized chunks instead of a massive video like this. You get access to me and other experts, detailed playbooks, live Q&A calls, and a network of ambitious guys all pushing each other to reach that next level. Whether you want to land brand deals, sign more coaching clients, or successfully launch an online product, we have resources and people in the community doing exactly that. The best part, it's only 47 bucks a month to join. That's less than $2 a day. The idea is that even one tip or connection from the community should help you land a client or deal worth far, far more than $47, giving you a 10x or more return. We're usually talking about $1,000 to $2,000, and it consistently does. Guys in our group have just landed bare minimum $500 and $1,000 brand collaborations, meaning a brand has paid them 500 bucks to post their shoes or their jackets or wear their clothing. And we're not even talking about like their own coaching businesses. This is just sponsorships from companies like you see people doing all the time. That alone is 10x ROI right there. We've had members completely book out their coaching spots for the month after implementing our DM scripts and content calendar methods. When you surround yourself with winners and get proven frameworks, it's not hard to grow. So I would invite you, I at least offer that you consider joining us in Ascend. This is now called the Digital Syndicate instead of Branded Business Community. We changed it to that to show you guys the value of growing in an elite group of people and not just focused on the branding side of it. We also teach the business, we teach everything else, but we want you guys to feel connected with one another. If you found this session valuable, this is the tip of the iceberg. Inside, you're going to get the ongoing training, weekly sessions like this, accountability to actually execute on these ideas. You can cancel anytime. We'll actually refund your money if you don't have value within 2 months. There's no long-term commitment, but I have a feeling once you're in and see the value, you're going to realize it's a no-brainer to stay in. The link to join's on our website, and I'll drop it below this video and the Notion page as well. Information alone doesn't change your life. Action does. Ascend is designed to get you into action and keep you accountable with me and others guiding you along the way. Imagine a month from now having your calendar filled up with calls that you can barely keep up with and have to hire people to help you with, which we do all the time, and welcoming new clients into your program, all because you mastered one funnel for $47, guys. That's like buying a hamburger in terms of how many hamburgers we're about to feed you. We're going to open a whole McDonald's worth of hamburgers for you in terms of value, return on investment. It's completely possible. All right, that's a wrap for tonight's training. Thank you so much for tuning in and investing in yourself. If you have questions, drop them in the community or the comments. I'm here to help. And if you're ready for the next step, join us in Ascend. Let's get you those wins and make your brand truly work for you. Take this knowledge, go ahead, run with it, and I'll see you Saturday in the strategy lab, hopefully inside the community. Until then, go start some conversations, get active, and make some magic happen. This is Coach Caleb signing off. Have a good night.